You can give her loyalty, sacrifice, even your best years, but hypergamy doesn't care. The moment she sees a better option, well, everything you built can vanish overnight.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's true. Damn true. Let's get into a little Red Pill 101 on this holiday morning, gentlemen. Hopefully we get a lot of people watching live right now because there's a lot of people off today. Guess who's not off today? This guy. This guy. Mondays are always fun when you start out with some Red Pill praxeology, I think. And by the way, if you guys are watching live right now, drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. We're going to be talking about how you can do everything right in your relationship and she still might leave. She still might leave, right? We're going to talk about all the different ways that hypergamy doesn't care about all the investment you put in to your relationship and how much of a loyal, doesn't care about how much of a loyal, good man you are. There is no buffer from the sexual marketplace. And it's very important for guys to understand because a lot of guys, especially traditional conservative types, you know, guys that are really marriage focused, guys that are really, you know, family focused, they think that as soon as you put a ring on it, that all the other guys around are going to stop hitting on your girl, that your girl is going to stop paying attention to the attention she gets from other guys. And that's just not true. That's just not true. People cheat all the time. People get cheated on all the time. There's no buffer from the sexual marketplace, especially one little ring that cost you 3 months worth of salary, you know. But before we get into it, guys, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it does tend to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Now, we talk about hypergamy a lot on the channel. It's kind of a big topic in the red pill space. But what is it exactly? I'm just going to give you guys a Cliff's Notes version of this because I just dropped a video on Saturday that talked about women's hypergamous nature. But hypergamy is dualistic, right? Women are looking for a guy who they find, and we're not the 8-minute mark, a guy that they find sexually attractive. And they're also looking for a guy who's going to be caring and nurturing and that will be able to provide and protect for her and her children. Okay. That's it in a nutshell. Often we call this, we say it's, was it the dual mating strategy where they can't find both traits in the same guy. So what do is they sleep with the attractive guy that they find sexually attractive and that will give her the best genes possible for having a strong, viable offspring that can survive. And then she'll find some beta guy to help her raise that kid. Okay. That happens very frequently too. What I think happens a lot in modern relationships is guys start off kind of attractive. Women are very sexually attractive to these guys. And then they betatize themselves over time and they become the unattractive guy who's just gone all in on the provisioning and providing. And he's a good provider. And now she's not sexually attracted to him anymore. So now she's looking for a better option. That happens a lot too. Okay. But that's essentially what it is, right? Women are looking for their best possible option. Okay. And there's lots of factors that go into what is her best possible option. A lot of guys think it's money, right? But it's not necessarily money. It's the qualities that it takes to become a guy that can acquire resources, right? So it's not just about money, but yeah, so that's what it is, right? So why doesn't Why doesn't hypergamy care about loyalty? Well, attraction, it's not necessarily about fairness, is it? women don't reward effort or devotion. They respond to strength, confidence, and status. Right? So if you have that strength, confidence, and status, and she will more likely look at you like her best possible option. Okay. Now, I'll tell you what, if you don't have any of the other qualities, the effort and somewhat loyalty, and you're good father and all this kind of stuff, like, she might not keep you around either, right? Because she needs someone to help raise her kids. She might bang you on the sly though. Right? If you're so optimized on your alpha traits and you have zero beta traits, she might bang you on the sly, but she doesn't want you around full time because she needs someone to help her with her kids, right? So, maybe that's a win for you. I don't know. But we're looking at it, especially on Mondays, we're looking at it from a long-term relationship perspective, right? So if you're in a long-term relationship, chances are you want her to want to keep you around, right? so that's the lens we're looking at it through today. Okay. But if you're just you just want to be an alpha Chad, passport bro, traveling around, being a digital nomad, we got a guy, legend in Wolfpack. This guy, he's a full-time passport bro, just travels all around like South America, just banging hot Latinas and stuff like that. He's living his best life. He's not interested in being tied down, right? But Mondays we're more focused on the guys. They're a little more relationship focused. Hypergamy always seeks his best option available. Okay. So even a loyal husband can be replaced if she perceives better prospects. Okay. And that's the thing too, is women have this what have you done for me lately type attitude. We're going to get into some of that today. They have this, what have you done for me lately attitude. So you could have done all this great stuff and been the most attractive guy and all this stuff, but if lately you're not making her feel that way, she forgets all that stuff. It doesn't matter. None of that ever happened. Right. And now she's looking at Jim in accounting, and Jim in accounting, man, he's got it going on. He's in shape, and man, my husband let himself go. He's loyal though. Oh, he's loyal. And I know he'll never cheat on me because, I mean, just look at him. Right. That's how women start thinking. And then they're like, oh, and Jim in accounting, he's always talking to me at the water cooler. I don't know. Maybe I should go to lunch with Jim, just as friends, right? Just put myself in Jim's orbit, and oh, I didn't know what happens, right? Then there's one thing leads to another. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw this on last week on Thursday, the episode dropped. I was a guest on the Scarlet Edit podcast, and the Scarlet Edit, the host of that, I think she started that because she was a guy's side piece for a long time. And there was a lot of negative stigma around being the side piece. And so now she's, I think trying to rewrite history I think that's what she's trying to do with the whole concept of cheating and infidelity or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but she was a gracious host. She agreed with a lot of the stuff I was talking about. Found it really fascinating, but she was saying how she's like, yeah, affairs just happen. They just happen. No one intends for an affair to happen. I'm like, okay, maybe for men, right? Like, because men can't get laid as easy as women can, right? Like, you can't just go out there and talk to random Susan in HR and get her to sleep with you. Like, it takes some game. Like, you have to be an attractive guy. You got to be a social guy. There's a lot of things going on for guys. Women just have to be available, right? Like, they could just go out and they could yell out the window on a busy street and go, hey, will someone come up here and bang me? They'll have 20 dudes climbing up the fire escape trying to get in their house to bang them, right? So it's not even hard for women. They just have to put themselves in a guy's orbit and then, tell themselves a story about why it's not their fault. right? So anyway, you could be the most loyal guy ever, but if you're letting yourself go and you're not being attractive and all that kind of stuff, she might start looking for better options. Okay. So before we get further into this, guys, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. Even on holidays. Today's a holiday, right? All right. While you guys are liking and subscribing, there should be at least 27 likes on this video. That's all I'm going to say. I would have more, but StreamYard crapped the bed again, streaming to Facebook, and I'm going to have to restream this after the fact. Oh, we got some people in the chat now. Hey, brother Ray is in the house. Good morning, all. Hope everyone gets to enjoy Labor Day. I'm going to be busy all day. Star Fitness in the house. He's another Wolfpack brother. He says, happy Labor Day, everyone. Then somehow Jim's dick slipped into her and no one knows how. It's a goddamn Scooby-Doo mystery. I don't know how that happened, right? Yeah. I don't know how I ended up at his house naked in his bed. It just happened, right? Yeah. Bullshit. Provider mode kills desire is another way that hypergamy doesn't really care about loyalty, right? So being the loyal, nice guy provider, it does meet needs. Okay. She does need a guy to protect and provide for her kids. So that does meet the beta side of hypergamy's requirement. Okay. But a lot of times what guys will do is they go hard on that, right? I'm providing for my family. And so they work long hours. They're never home. They let themselves go. They don't allow themselves time to work out and stay in shape. And they're just worried about bringing money in, keeping the bills paid, and putting food on the table. And that's just not sexually attractive. It's just not. Okay. Yeah. You're a good dad and you're playing with your kids and your kids love the hell out of you and you just really enjoy your kids. That's great. That's a great quality to have. It's just not sexually attractive, right? That kind of stuff, that beta, the beta traits, and it's got such a negative connotation, right? Alpha and beta. Nobody wants to be a beta male, right? Well, those beta traits is something that she needs, especially in a family man, in a guy that she's going to be in a committed relationship with, and she's going to raise kids with. She needs that. So it's not a bad trait. So a good way to look at it is that those beta qualities, they induce oxytocin in her system. Okay, oxytocin. And that oxytocin gives her that comfort love feeling. It's very much like a family love, right? I don't know all the different names for this, but the Greeks had several different words for love, and they all meant different things, right? So like eros love is that visceral, raw desire, right? But that comfort love feeling is different. It's a different feeling of love. It's like how you love your parents. You don't love them in a sexual way. You love them in a family way. Well, you being a good provider makes her love you in a family way, but not in a way that makes her want to jump your bones, right? So it kills that sexual desire. So when you go too hard on the beta side of hypergamy, it kills sexual desire, and that's how you end up in a dead bedroom, right? So it doesn't care. It doesn't care about how great of a dad you are, right? And if she's not sexually attracted to you, now she's going to start looking at other guys that are more sexually attractive. Now, not all women cheat, okay? Some women can keep this in check. Just like a lot of you guys, you have urges to bang every girl in town, but you're not acting on it, okay? So a lot of this red pill praxeology content, well, actually, I wouldn't even say praxeology content, like red pill trademark content online will have you believe that all women are cheaters. And that's not necessarily true, right? But there are a lot of cheating women out there. There's a ton of them, right? But not all of them will act on it. So what they'll do, right, is very much like what guys will do, right? Guys who aren't getting their needs met, but they don't want to cheat, they develop porn addictions, right? Can we say that on YouTube? Probably not. Corn addictions, okay? well, what's women's typical equivalent of dirty videos, right? I mean, some women watch dirty videos. In fact, who was it? Was it the Hub? The Hub put out stats on what people search for, and women look for grape and dominant, type corn activity more than anything else. It's kind of funny to when you look into what women's fantasies really are under the hood, because they try to keep that stuff secret. But women like trashy novels, right? So they might dive into a bunch of trashy novels and go get a cucumber or something and satisfy that needs, but they don't want to bang you. They don't want to bang you. You're a good dad, but you're just not blowing her skirt up anymore, right? Women instinctively are wired to respond to strength, right? So loyalty without that masculine leadership signals weakness and not safety. And that's really where you start seeing disrespect, right? You see her just blatantly disrespect you all the time. She walks all over you. All that kind of stuff is because you've been failing her tests for a long time. She's lost all respect. She has no feeling of safety or security in the relationship because you are not the guy that can handle life's challenges. This is why when guys really have a hard time in life and they break down and cry in front of their girl, women, I think that they want to be there for their man when he does that. And they think that they want to care when a guy breaks down and cries in front of her, but her evolutionary biology is just not wired for that. And when you do that, she sees that chink in the armor and she goes, ooh, I don't know if this guy is strong enough to handle life's challenges. He's crying in front of me. And that just dries up a vagina like nothing, right? Like nothing else. And this is why we often say, like, women don't care about your struggles. They wait at the finish line and bang the winners, right? It's their solipsistic nature. It's just, they can't see things through your point of view. They are like the worst at empathy. A lot of people think that women are these emotionally intelligent beings. At least women think they are, but they're not. They're just emotional beings that filter everything through their emotions, their own individual emotions, and they're very self-centered. And they don't care about the struggles you're going through. They expect you to just handle it, right? Well, so that loyalty without that masculine frame, she can't feel that safety and security in a relationship, and she's going to start looking for a guy who she perceives as more emotionally stronger than you, right? Loyalty is completely invisible without desire, right? So a woman who genuinely desires you, like she loves the crap out of you, she can see that loyalty and appreciate that loyalty, and she'll actually love that loyalty, right? But if she's not sexually attracted to you, your devotion just feels like an obligation to her instead of love. That now you're just work. You're just another guy she's got to take care of. You're just another checkbox on my list of chores I got to do, and now you're a burden to me, right? That's because she doesn't have that genuine, visceral, instinctive desire for you anymore. And so your loyalty is meaningless to her. Absolutely meaningless, right? Sad, right? We as men, we sort of love idealistically. And so we sort of want and expect women to just love us unconditionally forever. And they just can't. They're just not wired that way. So getting mad at them for it, and that's a big problem with red pill trademark type content is a lot of these guys are mad that women can't love them in a way that they expect to be loved, and they're just not wired for it. So the sooner that you accept that, and you're like, the sooner that you can navigate how relationships really do work, and then you can have healthier relationships. Okay, at least that's my goal. That's my goal here. By the way, guys, I'd love to hear from you. There's a bunch of you guys in the chat right now. A lot of you guys are talking right now. What's something nice you did for your wife or girlfriend, and instead of her being grateful about it, she totally took it for granted? Let me know in the chat or down in the comments below if you're watching the replay, okay? What's something nice you did for your wife or girlfriend, and instead of her being grateful about it, she totally took it for granted? I tell this story a lot on the podcast. And I've told it on Rule Zero before when I used to be on Rule Zero. And everyone gives me shit about it. But it was a lesson I had to learn because I was your classic nice guy, right? Like I'm a recovering nice guy, just like most of you guys are. And one thing I did when I was in my relationship with Red Pill Chick was I thought that women loved flowers and the key to a woman's heart is to give her flowers and gifts and all this kind of nonsense, right? And so for 4.5 years straight, every month I would buy her a big bouquet of flowers and have it sent to her work to get, so that all of her coworkers would see it and be totally jelly and I would get the brownie points, right? That was a nice gesture in the beginning, and I think she appreciated it in the beginning when she was still sexually attracted to me. But near the end of the relationship, when she was looking for a plan B option and looking for a way out, she didn't give a shit. She totally took it all for granted, didn't even care, right? She didn't care that I was being the good boyfriend and sending her flowers every month. Absolutely became meaningless gesture. So it's something I'm like, oh, it's something you don't even have to do as a guy. Royce had a great article on being a Skittles man. Like you don't need to do that stuff, especially when a woman is genuinely into you. You don't have to do any of those meaningless gestures, and you're wasting gobs of money doing it, right? So it was a lesson learned. But if any of you guys had something like that, maybe not that bad, that simpy, like, let me have it. Okay. Like I get it. It was a bad mistake. It was something that I learned not to do, but what's something nice you did for a wife or a girlfriend and she completely took it for granted? Let me know. Hypergamy is opportunistic, not romantic. So her instincts are about optimizing her and her children's future, not necessarily rewarding your sacrifice, right? She only cares about what you could give to her. Okay. Now, I will say this. Usually, if a woman has that genuine desire for you, it's not just about what she can get from you, right? She genuinely wants to be around you. She genuinely likes your company. She genuinely wants to jump your bones all the time. That's why we're like, this is why we really harp on genuine desire in this space, right? Or women who are highly interested. When you're going out dating, you're testing for interest, right? You're testing for interest, you're testing her ability to follow your lead, and then you're facilitating fun and fucking. Like those are the 5 things that you're doing when you're dating, because you want to spend time with women who want to spend time with you, right? You're looking for genuine desire, and a lot of you guys are banging on closed doors, right? You guys are trying to get chicks to like you who don't necessarily like you all that much. And that's why you end up in relationships you should have never been in, because those women are looking at you for opportunity only. They don't give a shit about you, right? So when you're out there dating, it behooves you to only get into relationships that are based on that genuine desire. And a lot of times you guys do get into new relationships that are based on genuine desire, and then you fall back onto nice guy paradigms and start being this beta nice guy that she loses attraction to over time. Okay. And when that happens, she's only looking at you for opportunity, right? It's a part of the betatization process that I talk about in the free ebook. But once she gets to a phase where she's like lost all respect for you, and she's putting you to work, she only cares about herself and her kids and what you can get for them. And that's all she cares about. She doesn't care about your sick days. She doesn't care about like you broke your leg one day. She doesn't care about your dog died. What can you give to me? Okay. That's what that ends up being. So you want to avoid those types of relationships, right? One thing that guys need to understand too about hypergamy not caring about your loyalty is that she's constantly going to be testing you, right? The test will never stop till the end of time. She will test you. A lot of it's subconscious. She doesn't even know she's doing it, right? But just when you put a ring on it, or when you say, hey, you're my dedicated girlfriend, that's not when the testing stops. A lot of guys think, oh, I've reached a mythical finish line once I've gotten into a long-term relationship, or I've reached a mythical finish line once I put a ring on it. And that's just not true. There's no finish line. Okay. So the tests don't stop, and it behooves you to learn how to handle those tests. Right. So they're constantly going to be testing boundaries. And every time you fall, right, you allow her to walk all over you, you go, you know what, fine, fuck it, I don't want to fight about it, and you want to keep the peace at all costs. The more you do that, and the more you let boundaries slide, the more she loses that respect for you, no matter how faithful you are. Right. The more she's like, I'm able to push this guy around, I'm able to dangle my vagina in front of this guy and he'll do whatever I want, all that kind of stuff is those are all just various tests. And so you need to be able to set and enforce boundaries in a way that she respects. Right. And a lot of guys think that setting and enforcing boundaries requires a lot of yelling and a lot of like throwing chairs and punching walls and shit. Like, no, you don't need to do any of that stuff. In fact, it's better if you don't, right? Because you don't want to climb into her emotional roller coaster. If she sees that whatever she's doing, even if she's trying to push boundaries and all that kind of stuff, if she sees that you're very even keeled and you're just very stern and assertive with your communication, using like techniques like broken record and negative assertion, negative inquiry, and you're just not climbing onto her emotional bullshit, she respects you more. And she's like, I can't get my way with this guy, and I fucking love it. Like, they don't know why. They're like, I don't know why, but I didn't get my way, but I fucking love this guy, right? It feels over reals. You're making them feel more safe and secure in the relationship, and then they, from a place of strength, I should say, right? It's not because of your loyalty or whatever. It's because of your ability to set the tone and lead and maintain frame, right? All right, guys, by the way, if you're finding any of this content valuable, do consider sending a super chat. That helps support the show probably more than anything else. All right. I'm not expecting you guys to send $500 super chats or anything, but a couple of ducats to your boy, if you're finding this content helpful, that would be very nice. Very nice. If you're going to be a nice guy, you might as well be a nice guy to a bro, right? That's giving you some actionable information. All right. Respect matters more than love, especially when it comes to you as a man. Okay. Like, yeah, you want that love, that, you want her to cuddle with you on the couch. You want her to have that sexual attraction to you and have that visceral, raw, animalistic, sex with her and stuff like that. But that respect matters more than anything, because she cannot love you if she doesn't respect you. Right. Now let me backtrack that a little bit. She can love you, but not in a sexual way, right? This is where you get the I love you, but I'm not in love with you kind of shit anymore, because you've gone too far to the beta side. And so that oxytocin feeling she still has, she's like, man, what a good dad. What a good dad. I really appreciate this guy for being a good dad. And man, he cleans gutters like nobody else, but she doesn't want to bang your brains out, right? This is where you get the I love you, but I'm not in love with you stuff, because you're not spiking those dopamine receptors anymore. And that's what it comes down to, right? It's dopamine and oxytocin, and you're giving her tons of oxytocin and no dopamine. You're not fun, exciting, and sexually attractive anymore, right? So, but maintaining respect, maintaining frame, that's all alpha traits, right? And those alpha traits are what creates those dopamine hits from her, right? Security by itself isn't enough. Providing loyalty and stability, it's necessary, but not sufficient for long-term attraction. In fact, you want to know something that'll blow your mind, guys? Well, some of you, a lot of you guys have turned to the podcast. It's just old hat stuff, but it's a good reminder, right? But some of you guys that are new, that are tuning in for the first time, something that will blow your mind when it comes to loyalty and attraction. She is actually more sexually attracted to you if she thinks you have other options with women. Okay. That's social proof and pre-selection working together to make her more attracted to you. Because a guy who has options with other women is more attractive to women. They like a guy that other women like, right? And so a big thing that guys do that kills their attractiveness is they try to squash any kind of anxiety in their girl, right? If she's got competition anxiety because she thinks that other girls might steal you away, she might come to you all frantic and be like, Susan was giving you the eyes today, and all this kind of stuff. And then what a lot of guys do is they panic and they try to squash that and go, oh, wow, I don't even like Susan. She's not even attractive. What are you talking about? Like, and they really try to downplay that jealousy. That does nothing to help you with the attraction, though, because you're killing that pre-selection that's driving her wild, that makes her want to compete for your love and your attention and bang your brains out so that you don't leave, right? All this kind of stuff. So that security doesn't make her more attractive. She doesn't care about that, right? And the more you squash that and reassure her that you will never cheat on her and you'll never leave her and Susan, whatever, the more you do that, the more she starts thinking in her high brain, oh, well, I don't have to try. I don't have to do anything to keep this guy. He's already told me he's never going to leave. So, okay, cool. Well, then I don't have to have sex anymore. God, what a relief, right? Because this is where passive dread game can be very effective, especially if you're trying to turn your relationship around, right? If you're trying to, if she's not banging you anymore and you've lost that spark, it's good to actually start getting in shape again and start practicing your social skills again and talking to everybody, not just women, but talking to everybody you go out and meet, because the more funny and flirty you are, the more social you are, and the better looking you are, the more that competition anxiety is going to start coming back, right? And that when that competition anxiety starts coming back, she's going to realize, oh, I really do have an attractive husband. Oh, I don't really want to lose him. Oh, I better start banging his brains out again, right? That's how that works. This is passive drug game. In fact, I put it out there. I put it out there to the email list and to my Wolfpack guys about doing and I think I put it out on the podcast too. I wanted to know if you guys would be interested in a course dedicated to passive dread game. And I had a lot of people reach out to me going, yeah, I would totally do a course on passive dread game. That sounds awesome. So I'm going to start working on that this month. I'm going to try to get one done by November. Trying to make it at least like a good solid 5-hour class. My past courses have all been about 5 hours. So I'll try to keep it around there. If it make it too long, you guys won't watch the whole damn course, but yeah, I'm going to end up doing a course on passive dread games. So if you're interested in that, let me know, DM me or something like that. Or if you're on the email list and you see one of my, my morning emails, reply to me and just let me know, okay, that you'd be interested in something like that. By the way, guys, if you haven't done so already, because I said DM me on social media, follow me on social media, would you? I'm on all the good platforms. The links in the description for that. Betatization kills polarity. So over time, men end up deferring, compromising, and they become really passive in their relationships. And this is a part of our nice guy upbringing. This is a part of our happy wife, happy life paradigm that we've all been raised with. And the egalitarian fairy tale of looking for an equal partner. Man, I'm really into the woo-woo, guys. I'm really into the woo-woo. If you guys are into woo-woo, also check out my new channel, Quantum Reality Awakening. I have new episodes every Sunday. But I'm listening to Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. And he's going through these different meditations. He's talking about mind movies and stuff like that, and different affirmations you can say in your mind movies. And one of them, he's giving all these examples. And one of them was, I'm looking for an equal partner that, gives me the same type of whatever. I can't remember what it was, but it was just a complete fairy tale. And I'm sitting there listening to it and I just snicker. When I hear stuff like that, I'm like, stop it, but that's how we're raised. We're raised to think, she like She's my rock. I can lean on her during tough times. I'm her rock. She can lean on me during tough times. We're equal partners. And that's just not how it works. That's just not how men and women are wired, evolutionarily speaking, right? And so you just gotta accept that, right? You're her rock. It doesn't work the other way around. It's not equal partnership. Let that go. Okay. But having that mindset will have you leaning more down the beta road, because what you'll end up doing, thinking that she's your equal partner, is you're going to start deferring to her. You're going to want her buy-in on things. You're going to want her to make decisions about everything because you just want her to be happy. And all that stuff, the deferring to her authority, compromising, becoming passive, all that kind of stuff will cause her to not respect you. She's going to start resenting you because you're not setting the tone and leading your relationship the way she thinks you should, right? And she's going to start looking for better options. She's going to look, you're not making her feel safe and secure in the relationship because now she's the one leading, right? She's the one that's leading this relationship and she didn't want that job. Hypergamy doesn't care about sunk costs, right? Years of loyalty don't outweigh a present perception of lower value. That's why I said in the beginning, they have this, what have you done for me lately type attitude. There's no such thing as relationship equity. You could be doing everything awesome for the last several years, and then you have a moment of weakness. Maybe you lose your job and you don't know how you're going to make ends meet, and you go into depression, you start crying or whatever. That's all she sees. She doesn't care about how awesome you were in the past. She cares about right now and how you make her feel right now in the moment. And if you're crying and you got laid off and you don't know how you're going to make ends meet and you're just spiraling out of control, she's like, holy shit, I can't trust this guy to lean on during tough times because it's a tough time right now and he's crumbling, right? This is why we say women don't care about your struggles, right? And this is why a lot of guys too, they think that if they lose a job, that women are automatically going to leave you. Okay. And that's a big talking point in the MGTOW space. Okay. Even Chris Rock has a bit about this, right? If you lose your job, she might not leave you right away, but the clock's ticking. That's what Chris Rock says. So a lot of guys make things about money. Okay. It's not, it's about her feeling secure. Right. And if you are the kind of guy that doesn't have a plan, that doesn't hit the ground running, that is like, oh yeah, I lost my job, but I got a plan. If you're not that guy and you just go, oh, what was me? And that was the best job I ever had. And I'm never going to find another good job like that. And then you're like, I'm just going to file for unemployment and just be whatever. Yeah, she's going to leave your ass. Okay. Because you gave up on yourself. And that's why, like, it doesn't matter what you did before that. You gave up on yourself now, and she doesn't trust your ability to make her feel safe and secure in this crazy world out there. Right. And so she doesn't care about any of that stuff, and she will leave your ass. Right. There's no such thing as unconditional love. Her hypergamous nature is going to look for a better option at that point because you're not it, pal. You can't handle life's challenges. Okay. So, my dad went through this sort of thing when I was a kid. He got laid off from like the best job he ever had. He worked for this company called Mid-Continent, and they completely went under. He lost his job, and he was in like this state of depression for like 2 years. And he couldn't find it. Well, I don't know if he couldn't find a job or if he just wasn't really trying that hard because he was kind of going through this depression. And my mom, who wanted to give up nursing and become a stay-at-home mom, now had to go back and join the labor force to put food on the table. And believe you me, my brother and I heard it for the rest of our fucking lives about how she was the major breadwinner, right? And then she resented my dad for making her go back to work and being this lazy guy for 2 years. And he was like a depressed stay-at-home dad for 2 years, and she lost all attraction for him. Right there. But she also was raised in a generation where you just didn't quit. So they stayed together. They're still together today. And they're miserable, but that's one of those things, right? Like hypergamy doesn't care about all the stuff that you've done up until now. And now you're just having a weak point. And you just need her to help you through it. She's not there for that, bro. She's not there for that. Okay. Now, you can get mad at her for that, or you can just accept that's just not in their nature and realize that there's other options for you. Okay. Like there, get some good brothers to lean on in situations like that, right? Get a therapist, get a coach, like somebody to help you through that tough time. Your girl's just not it. That's not her job. You don't put that burden on her. Okay. By the way, guys, I have a free ebook that explains why attraction erodes in long-term relationships. If you haven't gotten it yet, it's the top link in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or you can go to ebook.fixdeadbedrooms.com and grab that. But it's a 5-stage process that women subconsciously go through where they will self-sabotage this relationship, trying to make sure that you're her best possible option. And the more you fail her test, the more you fall down this path. And next thing you know, she's dumping you or cheating on you or whatever. And you can't prevent that from happening if you don't know what's happening to begin with. So grab the free ebook. Okay. It's ebook.fixdeadbedrooms.com. It's also the first link in the description. All right. Biology overrides vows. That's another thing. Like, vows are meaningless, right? Vows are meaningless. Social contracts can be broken if her instincts feel unfulfilled. Okay. So for a lot of guys, you get married and you say your vows and you take your vows very seriously. I was that guy, right? I was married. I was married for 14 years. I took my vows seriously. I was miserable the last half of that marriage. The last 7 years were absolute misery for me, but I never would have quit because I made a commitment. I made vows, and I'm an honorable man, and vows mean something to me, right? Women don't care. Okay. And so it's funny when you hear some guys in the space say, Thor was like this. My good friend and mentor, RP Thor, used to say this. He was very much about not getting the government involved in your relationship, but going to a minister. Like if you're a man of faith, doing vows, right? Vows that you write yourselves, and doing that in front of someone and having a ceremony. He was very big about that. But I'm like, the vows are still meaningless, like they become meaningless if you're not sparking those feelings with her in the moment, right? In the present moment. For her, like, all the vows are meaningless, and she can renege on those vows at any time if you're not providing your end of the bargain, and she starts seeing other people as better options, right? So even the vows end up becoming meaningless at the end of the day because of that wiring and her solipsistic nature and her hypergamous nature and all that kind of stuff. So if her instincts feel unfulfilled, now all of a sudden she'll rewrite the story in her head about why those vows don't count, right? That's how it'll work. It's sad. Competence signals attraction. So that's a big thing. A man who stops growing, leading, and improving signals decline, right? So hypergamy, it doesn't forgive that stagnation, right? And so this is a big problem I've had with guys that I've coached through the Dead Bedroom program. Some of these guys have gotten to a place in their life where they just got too comfortable. They don't want to go to that next level. They don't want to get the next position up. They don't want to get into management. They are happy coasting along where they're at. And some of these guys, their wives have surpassed them in their careers. And so their wives are now making more money than them. And a lot of guys will be like, oh, it's all about money again, right? And there's statistics on this too, where women are more likely to break up with guys they're with who aren't making as much money as them. If they surpass them in money, now they're looking for a guy that's making more money, right? Because that's hypergamous nature. They're always looking for someone above them. And it's not about the money. It's the lack of drive and ambition. Like I said, it's never about the money. It's about the qualities that you have to acquire resources. So stuff like ambition, confidence, assertiveness, like that kind of stuff will get you, farther in your career world. But a lot of guys just get comfortable. They're like, yeah, but I like this job. I don't have to do anything. I clock in, I check emails all day, I drink coffee and shoot the shit with the boys at work. And I'm making a pretty good living. I'm able to pay the bills. Like, isn't that good enough? Isn't that good enough? Well, if she's got more drive and ambition than you, no, it's not, right? She's the man in the relationship. She doesn't want to be the man in the relationship. And now, she's like, this guy's an unattractive guy. Okay. So having that competency, that kind of competency and that drive and ambition, that's attractive. And so if you're never satisfied where you're at and you're always trying to get to that next level, or you have something that you're pursuing, some kind of goal that you're pursuing, she's going to love that desire and that attraction or she's going to have that attraction for you because of all of this ambition that you got. That's super attractive to her. Okay. So as soon as you let that go, she's going to be like, God, this guy has no ambition, right? He's just stagnant. He's just He'll give her the ick, and she'll start looking for guys who are more ambitious, right? That's, like it or not, this is, if you want to have a long-term relationship, these are things that you have to, be aware of, right? If you just want to, be a passport bro, like our boy in Wolfpack, and just travel around, South America, being a digital nomad, banging hot Latinas, you don't have to worry about any of this shit, right? So it all just depends on what you want in life. Okay. If that would make you happy, then you don't have to worry about any of this shit. Right. But if you are the kind of guy that, like, man, I really do like having a steady girlfriend. I do like having a girl I can talk to at the end of the workday. I do like having a girl I can go out on dates with and do stuff with. A girl that I can share my life with. If you're that kind of guy, you gotta know this stuff. All right. Or you can get mad about it, like whatever. Like, but being mad about it's not going to change it. Guys, I mentioned the free ebook, but if you guys are in a situation where you really are in like a dead bedroom situation, you're in a long-term relationship, she's just not banging your brains out anymore, and you want to turn this relationship around because you still love her, I do have a full book on it called Get Her to Fuck You Again. It's available on Amazon and Audible. Go to books.comeonmanpod.com for that. And let me play a quick commercial for that, and then we'll get back to the topic today.
Are you tired of the dead bedroom? Wondering what happened to the passion, the connection, and the spark? Well, here's your answer. Introducing Get Her to Fuck You Again, a red pill guide to fix a dead bedroom, now on Amazon. This isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about real strategies that work. If your wife has stopped being intimate with you, it's not because the love is gone. It's because the attraction is gone. And that's fixable. This book will teach you the skills to lead your marriage, rebuild your confidence, and become the man she can't stop thinking about. 3 reasons to get this book. 1. It breaks the cycle. You'll learn how to stop doing the same things that are killing her attraction and start doing the things that reignite it. 2. It's practical and proven. With clear, actionable steps, you'll build yourself into the man you were always meant to be. 3. It works for men like you. Paul Bauer has helped hundreds of men just like you fix their dead bedrooms. And now, it's your turn. Don't let another day go by feeling frustrated and disconnected. Go to Amazon right now and buy Get Her to Fuck You Again. Read it, apply it, and watch your marriage transform. The connection isn't gone forever. You just need the roadmap to get it back. And this book is it.
Yes, indeed. We got a bunch of people in the chat today. Heavy Bags from X says, women don't respect equality in relationship. They respect leadership. Facts. I was on this podcast earlier this year. It was some British podcast. I don't know. These guys, they basically ambushed me. They did not like any of the red pill stuff I was talking about. And it was almost like they were, anytime they would ask me a question, this one guy had this shit-eating, arrogant grin on his face the whole time. And anytime I said anything, he would like challenge me on it. And then I just sort of, laughed it off and, treated all that stuff like a shit test, like whatever. But the funny thing is that after that episode, he went to his wife and goes, man, this guy we just interviewed, he says that women want men to set the tone and lead the relationship. He's like, do you want that from me? And she goes, yeah, actually, that would be great. I would really wish you would set the tone and lead the relationship. And he's like, huh, that's weird. And so then he comes back to me and lets me know. And I'm like, the fact that you had to fucking ask your wife that tells me everything I need to know, brother. If you have to ask your wife's permission to lead, who's really fucking leading the relationship? Okay, just fucking lead. Don't ask her permission. So Heavy Bag is absolutely right. And let's see here. We've talked to these guys already. Phil Bradley's in the house. Hoorah. Frank Wall, I don't have kids. Should I even consider a woman with kids? Tune in on Wednesday. You're going to love Wednesday's episode because Wednesday's episode is all on this topic. So definitely tune in for that. Because I mentioned it in, it was Brother Dar here, Dar Fitness here. He's a Wolfpack and he saw that I was going to do an episode on this. And he goes, oh, I'm super interested in what you have to say about this. And he tells me his backstory. And he goes, do you think I was being, because it's all about being a cuck, right? Like, if you're dating single women in the red pill space, you're a cuck. And I'm saying that's not fucking true, not by itself. And so we'll talk about that more on Wednesday. So he asked me, he's like, so what was I being a cuck? And I was like, wait until you hear what I have to say on Wednesday. Modern Man says, happy Labor Day, bros. I'm about to take a nice woman out for a hike today. Nice, cheap, fun date. We will see what happens later. You know what? If you've seen this girl a couple of times, hikes are great. Like I take Nurse Chick out on hikes all the time. I try to kill her by going on these ridiculously long 10-mile fucking hikes. But it can be good. If it's a first date, I don't recommend it. I don't fucking recommend first or second dates going on hikes, because if you don't like this girl, now you're stuck with her on the trail for however long you have to deal with. I have a story I've told on the podcast about that, about Pocahontas girl and going on a fucking, just one of the most miserable dates I've ever been on. And I'll never do that again. Guys, by the way, smashing like is alpha. Alex Patino, what's that, you British cigarettes? Urkin says, hi, folks. Healing from being a nice guy. We all are. Broken what? Broken. I don't know what you're talking about. Alex Patino with a $10 super chat. Okay, so he's asking specifically for respect to the cock, but it is a $10 super chat. So, and he's not a Wolfpack brother, so that's the right price for the booty shaking video. So I'm going to give him both though, because he's a good guy. Here we go.
Respect the cock and tame the cunt.
Absolutely. And then because it's a $10 super chat, $10 super chats gives you the shaking booty video, and the $20 super chat gets you the shaking titties video. By the way, going forward, you guys are only going to be able to see those live because, or you can listen to them on Spotify. Spotify doesn't care, but YouTube always demonetizes me. And since this is my full-time job now, I kind of need that. So after, like on the replay, I got to go back in like tomorrow, and I'm going to have to cut the booty shaking and the titty videos out so that I can stay monetized. But anyway, let's see here. Urkin says passive, active, neutral, etc. interest in all Dread Game courses. Oh, okay, cool. As long as it's free. Dude, it's not free, okay? You don't value free, man. People don't value free. If I give everything away for free, people will be like, oh, this is nice to know, and they'll disregard it, right? People only take action on stuff that they're invested in. So take it or don't take it. I don't fucking care. Peter says, the girl I was interested in showed up in a party that I was to, was it with a guy 13 years younger than her? Wait, what? The girl I was interested in showed up in a party that I was with a guy 13 years younger than her. Oh, I see. Okay. Erkin, my choice would be Eastern Europe for being a passport bro. Oh, yeah. I hear Prague has like the hottest chicks ever, right? Broken something technique you mentioned. Oh, broken record. Yeah, I talk about that in Get Her to Fuck You Again. Broken record. It's a form of, it's one of the tools in your toolbox for Oh, I grabbed the wrong book here. Hold on. I got a stack of books here. Get Her to Fuck You Again. I talk about broken record in there. It's an assertive communication technique where you don't have to get mad. You just keep repeating the same thing over and over again, right? So it's like saying, let's say you a great example of this. I learned all this stuff from When I Say No, I Feel Guilty, but there was a guy in When I Say No, I Feel Guilty who wanted a refund on some meat that he bought at a supermarket. And so he goes to the supermarket and he goes, "This meat is bad. I want my money back." And the people that work there were giving him the runaround. They're like, "Oh, well, we can't give you the money back. You got to go in the back and talk to the butcher." And he goes, "Well, will you go get him for me? Because I want my money back." And they're like, "We're not going to go get him for you." He's like, "Well, I'm the customer. You need to go get him and bring him up here because I want my money back." And so broken record is just saying that same thing over and over again, right? I want my money back. I want my money back, because what you'll find is that people only have so many no's, right? They'll give you the runaround so much, but if you just keep saying that stuff over again, eventually they'll say, "All right, fine." Right? "All right, fine." And they'll do what you say. That's, you're being assertive. You're not letting go of it. But you don't have to be aggressive about it, right? You can stay very even keeled and not get in your emotions and just keep saying that stuff over and over again, right? Okay, where are we at here? We did dread. Yes. Oh, so speaking of dread games, so dread keeps men sharp. So knowing that she could lose you forces her to stay engaged, and without it, complacency sets in. This is Rollo talks about this in the First Rational Male. And he talks about how when you marry a woman, one of the biggest problems with marriage is it relieves that competition anxiety. And as soon as she feels like she doesn't have to compete anymore, a lot of times women will stop investing in the relationship. This is why girlfriends are really hot and heavy in the beginning, and then when you put a ring on it, that goes away. It's because they feel like they don't have to try anymore. But when they know that you're not fully locked down, they put more investment in. Okay, so that's where dread games comes in, where they still feel like they might lose you if they don't act right. You know what I mean? And so dread games very powerful to maintain that that attraction in the long term. It keeps her invested more. But all of you guys are out there trying to squash that tension. "Oh, I would never cheat on you, honey. I'm so loyal and loyal. This." She don't fucking care, right? She cares about how you make her feel. And if you make her feel like she needs to put investment in, she will put investment in. Okay. It's all about feelings, right? An abundance mindset protects men. Okay. So if she senses you have no options, and this goes back to dread game. Okay. If she senses that you have no options, all that loyalty just looks like weakness instead of choice, right? She's like, "Oh, he's with me because he needs me. He needs to be here. He doesn't have any other options." And you'll see TikToks about this all the time, where women are like, "How do I know my husband or my boyfriend will never cheat on me?" And then she will pan over and he'll be like this fat slob playing video games or whatever. And some people find that cute and endearing. They're like, "Oh yeah, look at this. She loves this guy and he's such a schlub." But really what she's showing the world is, "Look at this fucking schlub I'm with. I never have to worry about him cheating on me because he can't get no bitches." And that kills her attraction. She's like, "Why am I with this guy? If he can't get other women, why am I with him?" You know? So as a guy, and a big reason why this happens to guys and guys allow themselves to get there is because they have a scarcity mentality when it comes to women. They have this, they believe in the myth of the soulmate. They believe that she's my only possible option. I gotta protect my access to the vagina. And so they start, catering to her every needs. They start letting her walk all over them, they let themselves get manipulated because they don't want to disrupt access to the vagina. And the thing is that soul vagina, the one vagina that they have access to, starts drying up because they start acting all needy and stuff because this is their only option. Okay. And they're also these guys will allow themselves to be disrespected, walked all over because they're afraid of walking away. Cause they're like, I can't possibly get any better than this chick. I tuned into Rollo's podcast yesterday, which I haven't tuned into Rollo for a while, but I did want to see what he had to say about the Sadia Khan, that whole fiasco. I don't do a lot of, red meat type episodes where I'm bad mouthing other people in the space. I don't need that drama. I'd much rather help men. But Rollo does a lot of that type stuff, and that's not a dig on Rollo. It's just, that's his shtick, right? So anyway, I tuned into Rollo just to see what he had to say about it. And he showed a video at the beginning of his podcast. If you guys ever noticed, like Rollo, one of his genius things that he does is he gets you hooked in the beginning of a show by showing short form content, right? He gets you watching viral TikToks and stuff as a part of the opening of his show. And one of the ones that he showed was from Diary of a CEO, which is a very popular podcast out there. And this guy was talking about how he was with a girl and the girl said, I don't like having sex with you very much, and left him. And he became obsessed over this girl. And he said that he tried the dating market for a year and realized she's the best girl that he could get. And so he got on a plane and flew out to see her and all this kind of stuff just to win her heart and all this kind of shit. And that's supposed to be his success story. It's like, dude, she doesn't like fucking you. And you're chasing after this girl. Like, you clearly don't have an abundance mindset when it comes to women. And so we in the space teach to spin plates, right? Really do get your experience with women and date multiple ones, because you'll really find the ones that have that genuine interest in you, and that cream rises to the top. And most of you guys are chasing after girls that don't even fucking like you that much because you don't have that abundance mindset. Okay. And when you don't have that abundance mindset, you're going to be ultra, tunnel vision when it comes to the girl you're with. And you're going to, not see any better options out there. And that is going to manifest itself as neediness and validation seeking behavior in the relationship, which is going to kill attraction. Okay. And then her hypergamous nature is going to kick in and she's going to be like, ugh, this guy's such a needy little bitch. I need to find a better guy. All right. That being said, hey guys, I have it up here. We're having our Wolfpack pod class this week. So we do these once a month. They're a private pod class. So there's no ads. There's no, breaks like this to talk about joining, whatever. It's strictly for the group. There's no ads, nothing involved. It's just straight information on whatever the guys want to talk about. And so I asked the guys this week for different ideas on things to talk about. One guy wanted me to do something more on vasectomies, but he wanted to cover all these different angles on it and get a whole panel together, which is a great idea. It's just getting panels together is kind of like herding cats, and I don't like doing it. That's why I don't really have guests on that much anymore. Although I do have John Gray's book to come on the podcast in the next month or two. So I typically don't like doing that. And a lot of the guys that I've talked to that have had vasectomies, other than me, that we've all had similar experiences and the similar desires, right? But this guy really wanted to cover it from all angles, like, the getting it reversed. And what if you want to have kids someday and all this kind of stuff, which I could talk about, but I'm very biased when it comes to that. And so I don't know if I can deliver it in the objective way he wants, but I might still do a pod class on that. Just let me know if you guys want a pod class on vasectomies, we can do that. But this week's pod class is going to be on dealing with resentment in your marriage. So we have two guys that are going through Get Her to Fuck You Again. They're in the wolf pack and they're posting their updates and stuff like that. And two of these guys really are struggling with resentment, right? They do something, they're sort of expecting their wife to behave a certain way, and when she doesn't, now they're pissed about it, which that's covert contracts. Like, if doing something expecting a certain result is really, you're doing it not for the right reasons. You're not doing it because you want to do it. You're doing it because you're hoping she'll respond a certain way. And when she doesn't, that creates resentment. We're going to talk about that on Saturday. And then we have another brother who he went through a pretty nasty breakup, and he's real lonely. He's in a small one-horse town, smaller than the cow pasture that I live in. He lives in a town of less than 1,000 people. And so he's super lonely after this breakup. And he's even mentioned that he doesn't want to be here anymore. He doesn't want to live anymore. Right. So he's on the verge of zeroing out, want to keep that from happening. So we're going to talk about dealing with resentment and dealing with that depression. The Saturday, we're going to talk about the 5 stages of unplugging and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be dedicated to the wolf pack. So if that's something you're going through and it's something you could benefit from, get in the wolf pack. Go to wolf.comeonmanpod.com. And for the love of God, run with the wolves, brother.
Bear club? Not anymore.
Home, midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit 24/7. Brothers locked in, steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack. Drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
Erkin says, vasectomy sounds stupid to me. Why is it even a thing? How many kids do you want, Erkin? You want like 1 million kids? I'll tell you why I got mine. I got mine. So after I was divorced, I already had 2 kids. I did not want to start over at 35 with baby at all. Right. And now I'm back on the dating circuit. And my wife at the time, she had an IUD, so it wasn't something I worried about. But now I'm on the dating circuit, and I'm going to be banging all sorts of strange. I don't want to get a bunch of random girls pregnant. So then you wear condoms and stuff, and condoms are pretty effective against that, but they break, right? And I've had some scares, and it's pretty freaky shit, right? And so anyway, I ended up in a relationship with Red Pill Chick, and Red Pill Chick, she had her tubes tied. So again, not something I worried about. I didn't really care. But then after the breakup with Red Pill Chick, I'm back on the dating circuit. This time I'm actually spinning plates. I'm dating and sleeping with multiple women. And I did have a couple of scares where the condoms broke, right? And so I was like, fuck, I'm playing a dangerous game here, you know? And one chick, I bought her the morning after pill, and she was like pissed at me that the idea of having a child with her was a bad thing to me. And I was like, bitch, we don't even know each other. Like we've only known each other like a month. Are you fucking kidding me? Like take the fucking pill. She didn't want to take the pill. Right. And that's the thing is once that sperm leaves your body, you get no choice in the matter. Right. She either takes a pill or she doesn't. It's up to her body, her choice. If you get her pregnant, you don't get a say whether you keep the kid or whether she gets rid of the kid. You get no fucking say in it. Okay. So if you really want to prevent that from happening and you really don't want to have any kids anymore, well, by God, vasectomy is a fucking awesome thing. It's fucking awesome. Just the peace of mind alone. Fucking amazing. Okay. I'm going to try to get through these last ones. We're already over an hour here. And I need to shorten up my show notes. I've been trying a different format lately where I'm not, hitting you guys with like 20 different things at once. And I'm just trying to go through, give you solid information, give you one thing, whatever. And that seems to be going a little bit better, but I've got way too many bullet points here. And so these episodes are getting longer and I need to shorten these. So I'll fix that on Wednesday. Anyway, so we'll go through these quick. Hypergamy responds to frame, not promises. So a man who leads and owns his reality, he tends to attract, but one who's always pleading with loyalty and whatever, like I would never do this and I'll do anything you ask, all the stuff that just that kills her attraction. Okay. So her hypergamous nature responds to strong masculine frame. That's why we say frame is everything, and money, muscles, game, frame. Like this, there's a reason why we harp on frame. And frame, I do a dedicated frame episode every Wednesday or every Friday. Women crave emotional impact, not safety nets. So predictable loyalty without polarity, it just feels boring and suffocating, right? And you can be anything to a woman, but you can't be boring. And so having that predictability all the time just kills attraction. And even if you're in a long-term relationship or a marriage, it's important to stay unpredictable, right? Keep mystery going. This is why like mystery dates or randomly taking your girl, out in some backcountry road and banging her in your truck, like all this kind of stuff is fun. It's fun to do. It keeps her engaged and interested. It keeps that attraction going. Okay. It's very important to keep her emotionally peaked and, keep that dopamine hits coming if you want to maintain that attraction in a long-term relationship. Comfort without desire feels like friendship, right? So too much comfort kills mystery, dissolves attraction. This is why I said, before, that it ends up being you're just giving her a whole bunch of oxytocin and zero dopamine, and now she loves you, but she's not in love with you anymore. It's because you've created too much comfort, okay? And so this is why I often say, women do want both in a long-term relationship, alpha traits and beta traits, and this is why you have to have 80% alpha traits to keep from ending up in a dead bedroom, and then just sprinkle a little beta on it to keep her, give her a little bit of comfort feeling, right? That's going to keep that attraction going in the long term. Hypergamy is comparative, not static, right? So even if you're loyal, she compares you to other men, real or imagined. Okay, this is why your girl having a Hollywood crush is problematic, right? And encouraging her to like be all into Thor or something like that, right? Or Jason Momoa, wet Thor, right? It's like if she can imagine getting a better guy, and this is a big problem with social media and having your girl on social media and getting all that fake validation from random dudes on the internet, is she thinks she can do better because of all this validation she's getting from other guys on the internet. It doesn't matter if it's real or not. If your girl could be like actually go out on the dating circuit and not be able to get the same kind of guys that she's getting this this fake internet points from. So a lot of that creates this artificial reality in her head. And so that actually will impact her attraction to you, right? This is why it's very similar to guys who are addicted to prawn and they can't get it up for their girl anymore. It's because prawn has given them this unrealistic expectation of the kind of girls they can get, and they really can't get any of these girls. They've let themselves go, and so now they have like erectile dysfunction issues with their girl, right? So it's the same thing. You can't get mad at women for this sort of things. Guys do this with the corn too, And by the way, guys, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can. If you go to call.fixeddeadbedrooms.com, you can book a call with me. All right, the last one here is masculine presence trumps loyalty. So a man who commands respect and embodies strength excites her far more than a man who's just there and will never leave her, right? If you can set the tone and lead your relationship from a position of authority, keep strong masculine frame, use assertive language, all that kind of stuff, that masculine presence will keep her around much better than you just being a loyal guy who will never cheat on her, right? And I'm not saying you have to cheat on her. Like I'm not advocating cheating on your girl, okay? But you can't lead with loyalty. Like it's the same thing as leading with your wallet when you're dating. You're leading with your wallet's only going to attract gold diggers that want you for your money, not for who you are as a person. Well, same thing goes with being in a long-term relationship and in maintaining that dominant masculine presence, right? That's what she needs in order to feel safe and secure and want to be around you and stay attracted to you, right? But if you just promise that you're never going to cheat on her, you could be a fat guy and let yourself go, and she's like, obviously you're not going to cheat on me. You couldn't even if you wanted to. Like, that kills her attraction for your attraction to you, right? All right. I hope that you guys found this episode helpful. Hey, brother John Egan's in the house. Too sweet, brother. Miles, hey, you got the job. Congratulations, man. Awesome. Don't cheat, but don't ensure her about loyalty either. Yeah, it's like one of Rollo's maxims from the Player's Handbook. It's women love a man, or women don't want a man to cheat, but they love a man who could cheat, because that signals that other women like you. It signals status. It signals that you're still an attractive guy, and that will draw her to you more than you promising that you'll never cheat. Okay. Now, you don't have to cheat, and you don't have to constantly reassure her that you're not going to cheat either. Okay. Just putting that out there, guys. Paul, you're teaching guys to play games. Games are supposed to be fun, and women love games. Okay. They just don't want to know they're playing a game. All right, guys, that's all I got. Tune into the podcast tomorrow afternoon. I have a really good sponsored video for you. I might actually have 2 sponsored videos for you. But I've only heard back from one guy who who purchased a sponsored video. Sean, if you're watching, I sent you a follow-up email. I did hear back from you yesterday, but get it back to me today, man, so I can put that together, and then we'll have I'll make sure I'll get that out to you tomorrow. If you don't get it back to me by the end of the day today, though, I'll have to push it to next week. But I don't want you to just waste your money. Okay, I want to deliver on what you purchase on. All right, cool. Other than that, tune into the podcast on Wednesday, guys. We will be talking about how dating single moms by itself does not make you a cuck. All right, so it's going to be a controversial take, especially in the red pill space, but tune in on Wednesday. I think you guys are going to enjoy where I go with this. That's all we got, guys. I don't see any other super chats in there. Do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications, though. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Other than that, we will see you guys tomorrow for the sponsored videos.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.